Stories are where relationships reside. If you don't have a story or stories to share with somebody, you have no rapport. Without that rapport, there is no business.
Hey there, and welcome to a brand new episode of Delivering Marketing Joy. I am your host, Kirby Hausman, and joining me today is a repeat rock star. I'm so excited to dive in here. He's the president of Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing. He's the author of The Rule of 26. I've got my copy right over there. Michael Buzinski, thanks so much for joining me, man.
Thank you very much for having me back, Kirby.
Oh, you bet. You bet. We had a lot of fun last time. So I want to jump into some new stuff that you've been working on. So let's start there. Like, what is a project that you are working on right now that you're totally fired up about, and why?
Well, so, obviously you mentioned the book, The Rule of 26, and we, or I should say, I released that in July of 2021. So It is now past its 2-year mark. It's been around. And it's gotten into literally hundreds of businesses already, which is, I'm just cool. Humbled at the response from it. I have colleagues now that I'm co-writing versions of the Rule 26 for their niches and all those types of things. We're just finished one of those, about to launch for the public safety sector.
Wow.
So which is really cool. And we've got a couple other ones in the nonprofit sector and a couple of those sectors. And with that said, we've been just trying to find a way to get, something that we can sink our teeth even further into this thing. Because reading the book's great, but people want to get in and workshop it, right? They're just like, how do we do this? How do that? Every time I'm on a podcast, I'll get somebody who, somebody who is the host is asking me basically like, how do I do this? How do I do that? Like literally wanting me to workshop it right there on the air with them, right? And so I'm like, okay, we've got to get a bunch of people together at the same time. We'll workshop at the same time. We'll learn off of each other. We'll bounce ideas. We'll do that thing. And so we finally came up with the Rule 26 Intensive.
Nice.
And it's a 2-day intensive where we're going to go through each of the objectives of the Rule 26 and create a roadmap from those workshops, so they have an actionable roadmap to go and just do it on their own, like no holds bar. They're going to get everything in these 2 days ready to go. Because we did some research and it was like, people are like, I don't have time for a 30-day challenge. I don't want to do a 7-day challenge. I don't want to do a challenge at all, blah, 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 blah. But I need to know. And I'm like, yeah, but you're the only one that's going to be able to do it. The owner and the person and the integrator, the visionary and the integrator, if you will. Those are the people who have to go through those workshops so that they can get down to what's actually going to move that revenue needle for them. Then they can give that roadmap to whomever is going to actually integrate it. Right. Yeah. And so I'm really excited about that coming up in April of 2024.
Wow. Where is that going to be online? Is it in a location?
No, it's going to be a live intensive. Awesome. It's going to be very limited seats. That you do have to apply because not all businesses will qualify for them.
Sure.
We are, for this particular intensive, we are looking for businesses that have done past 750,000 in revenue. Really looking for those people who are in the approaching or have passed the 7-figure mark, looking to double up, because we're literally going to double the revenue for every business in that room. They're going to have a roadmap to doubling their revenue from their website in 2 days.
That's super cool.
So we need people who are ready to execute, have the resources to execute, because it's time or money. You know that. Me and you've talked about that before, Yeah. And I don't know too many entrepreneurs with a lot of time on their hands. So
yeah, for sure. Well, I totally understand why you're fired up about this. This is really cool. So the question I like to ask people, especially those of us in the marketing space, because I get different answers for this from different folks. What are some mistakes that you see organizations make when they tell their story, and how can they fix it?
Well, it's funny because it's when they tell the story is usually the first mistake. Okay. They try to tell their story before they learn their prospect story. And where I see that the most is on websites. Yeah. Where we talk about me, I, we, us, right? And they forgot about the you, your. Why is that person there? Not for you, buddy. They're there for a very selfish reason. Them. Me, we, us. Those are the only yeah, right. Like,
Yeah.
so and so when you flip that around, it should be a you, your two
Yeah.
pronouns. That's
Yeah.
it. You, your, you and your situation, you, your business, and where you're at in your business. What are your pain points? What is your current story? What would you like that story to look like? And then after that, we're talking about the solution and then their future and their future story. So there's 3 stories that are being told before we ever mention our story.
I love that.
Right. And that's so the when of telling somebody's story is so as just as important, if not more important, than how you tell your story.
Yeah, I think that's really good. And I think that is I've heard people say, we make the customer the hero of the story, but it's like, it really is about what pain point you're solving. And so I love that. Buzz, that's good. So here's one, I like this. This might be a little bit of a wonky question. So if let me know what you think about it, but we get pieces of advice all the time. And I think every once in a while I hear things and I'm like, well, that isn't even right. Like, like people, we've said it enough that we just believe it or we parrot it. So is there any piece of advice that you hear on a regular basis that you think is not right at all?
Right now, I feel that AI has created a lot of misinformation.
Okay.
Okay. In that the people trying to utilize it to replace humans.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true. That's not how AI will work.
Right.
Google's even starting to say, like, at first they're like, we're not going to penalize SEO for using AI, but now they're changing their tune. But it all comes down to the usefulness of, right? And people keep being told, like, well, you can write a book in a day using ChatGPT. I'm like, yes, you can write a horrible book that nobody wants to read in a day using ChatGPT.
Yeah, that's been my experience. It's just, yeah, there's some stuff that's great, but
no, there's
really
no
bad.
The quality comes from the human aspect. The anecdotes for most of the books that you love to read come from humans and cannot be created through AI, right? At some point, you may be able to, I don't know, have them summarize things for you. It's funny. We got video today. Here.
Yeah. I love it.
Found these. This is not an endorsement, but I definitely like the concept of it. It's old school. It's storytelling tactics, not on a computer. Literally, you pull out cards and you go through the exercises to put together your stories to become better storytellers.
That's interesting.
Stories are where relationships reside. If you don't have a story or stories to share with somebody, you have no rapport. Without that rapport, there is no business. Right?
Yeah.
And so when people sit there and tell me, oh, well, AI can do that for me. No, AI can do it with you. And the faster that people shift gears from AI doing things for me versus doing things with me, the faster they'll be able to utilize AI for what it actually is, a tool, not a replacement.
Well, I like that a lot. That's really good stuff. Okay, cool, man. Well, final question for you. What is something that you recommend? I know you work with different companies, but I'm sure individuals as well. What's something you recommend people start doing today to make their life or business better?
Oof. Well, those are 2 very different questions, right?
Right.
Because in life, I feel, as I become, I'm turning 50 this year. Jeez Louise.
Nice. Congrats.
And
if you're like me, I didn't know that was good. I was going to make it. So I think that's awesome.
Yeah, right. I didn't know I was going to have so much to do at 50. I was like, I was going to be over the hill and be done with it, right? And now I feel like I'm just getting started, right?
100%.
But with that, I spent 13 years, and that was like all of my 30s and some of my 40s, believing that my business was my identity. And so personally, in the last 4 years, when I shut the doors down on my multi-million-dollar creative agency to start Buzzworthy Integrated Marketing as a 100% virtual company, I'm telling you right now, my life changed. And it was hard to do it because you have to change gears 180 degrees, right? Yeah. You just got to completely turn yourself around and say, okay, this is how we're doing business. And it is so much different. to be 100% virtual. I have a team of 9 strewn across the Pacific Ocean in the United States. Right. And with that said, now I have to be more purposeful in my personal life and make sure that I'm taking advantage of the time that I've actually bought by not having that brick and mortar. You'd be surprised how much time a building can suck out of an owner's bandwidth, right? So I guess that's a business and a personal thing to do, right? Is to basically understand that you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. And we don't know how much we have, so therefore we shouldn't be wasting it.
That's a good one, man. That's a good way to end this conversation. But I do want to give people an opportunity to find you. So where can they find the Rule of 26? Where can they find more information about you?
So the Rule 26 is ruleof26.com. The landing page for the next event will be at ruleof26.com/live. And then if you just want to check out what we're doing over at Buzzworthy, it's real simple. You just go to buzzworthy.biz and all things Buzzworthy will be there at your fingertips.
That's awesome. Dude, this has been really, really fun. I'm so glad you made a repeat appearance, and we'll have to do it again sometime, okay?
Definitely. Anytime you want.
All right, cool. Well, that's going to wrap up this edition of Delivering Marketing Joy. We'll see you next time.
Marketing.